Right, welcome back. As you can tell by the title, we're back on the Skyline again. So for anybody who knows anything about fiberglass bumpers, every now and again you might get a good one. I'll not write them off totally, but they're normally really bad. And I'm being polite because we're trying to keep a PG channel and all that sort of stuff. So basically, along the top here, there's like a big groove. It's supposed to line up with the headlights and everything like that around the front of the Skyline. It doesn't. So what we've had to do is take that whole thing completely out of the bumper and smooth it out. We've baked it with primer on, so any holes that are going to appear have appeared. So hopefully now we can get, you can just see if there's like a little pinhole in there, little bits in there. So basically just put that in there, we'll give it another thorough sand, we'll make sure it fits the car, do any modifications we needed to do. We did need to fit, what shows around that one, so the indicator, which are these things, they're going to slot in there. Wasn't too bad actually. It was a bit like, are they actually ever going to fit in there? But it wasn't too bad in the end. So that should look all right. So basically, Skyline, pardon the wandering round. So I've got the rear spats. I might have already spoke about this in the previous video. If I have, ignore that bit. So we've started prepping. We've got a few bits organised. Got a couple of bits in primer there. The bumper was that bad. If I haven't already said it, if I have, I apologise. But the bumper was that bad. We've put three coats after baking it. 3 coats of I-Build primer, the Meeper 4+1, for those that are interested. Yeah, and then we baked it again, basically to allow any air pockets in the fiberglass or anything like that to expand and pop. Because what we don't want to do is paint it and then have little craters appear or something like that. So that's why we try and do that beforehand to eliminate that problem. So I can't remember what I put on the last video, no idea. But basically, just for a bit of an update, if you like, we've welded. There was a section on here that somebody had cut out, welded a piece back in, but made a really crappy job of it. So we've cut that all out and then made one big piece to fill it all back up again. Welded that back in there. So that's done. We are painting the inner wings on this each side. We had a big, the original front mount cooler. There's 2 big holes that fit in there. So basically, we've welded them up. So we cut some discs out, if you like, welded them up. He's got a big front mount cooler on him, so there's no need for them holes to be in there. All it's going to do is, if he's out in the weather or whatever, it's just going to flick crap up in there. Or we need to find a grommet that fits, but around the edges weren't the best anyway. So, and if anybody ever wants to reinstate the side intercooler, all they've basically got to do is just hole saw back through it. And then put the holes where they want, but at least now we know it's all solid. So on the front here, it did have a bit of crash damage. Nothing major, to be honest with you. It's very minimal, but it was enough just to throw the wing out a little bit. It never sat completely square, so that's something we wanted to address. While we've got the wings off and the headlights are out, we've got full access to that, so we can straighten it out and sort that out, make it look a bit nicer. We had a snap bolt in here, so we've dealt with that. I'm just trying to think what I've shown you on this and what I haven't shown you. So we've done, all the sills are done now. This side wasn't too bad. Believe it or not, the puddle side that you'd expect to be bad was fine. So, or wasn't too bad. It just had one small bit on the inside and then two outer pieces. Whereas the driver's side, which is this one, we've had quite a bit on that. So more to sort out on that one, I'm afraid. So yeah, so today I'm going to try and get, there's little bits in that engine bay that need a coat of primer on them, so I'm going to try and do that today. Try and have a go at masking up as well, just to try and eliminate that if we can. I'm going to have to mask up for primer anyway, but we can be spot priming, but I have to mask the whole, because the engine's still in. And something I don't like is people will mask these screws up, then you get like a paint edge which is already on there already, as you can tell from the previous person that's done it. I can't stand that, it looks untidy. So basically, while the car's sat flat down, we'll just take the bolts out, mask the threads up, and then we'll paint everything, and then when we put the bolts back down, we'll clean the bolts back up, the nuts, sorry. We'll clean them back up and they'll look nice and fresh again, and that's all they had to do last time. But it looks like somebody hand painted it, which is a bit not the best. Right, so I'm going to get some sanding gear out and get on with that, start waffling. So I'll put you on a bit of a time lapse again, and then now my phone's ringing actually. I'll go and deal with that, and I'll get organised and get back to you. as you can see, that's all sanded now. Yes, I have got extraction, but it's all the way over there, and I've only had a small bit to do. So right, so we'll just smooth this corner out. So basically what we're going to do, I don't know if you can hear me or not if I keep moving the camera around, but just going to try and prime this area. Put some primer in there, put some primer in there. So basically just this front corner. It's only a small amount, the rest of it's fine. That side's already had primer anyway. I don't know why that side was done and primered, and why we didn't do both at the same time. I can't remember now. There must have been a reason why at the time. So yeah, basically we'll get this cleaned up, masked up, and we'll put a bit of primer on it, and then that'll be it today. I need to ring the customer, actually find out what we're doing about the inside of the bonnet. I'm trying to basically do like update videos with this car, if you like. So each bit that we do, there'll be a different video. There'll probably be more videos, but not quite as long. You have to let me know what you think. I can keep them all up and put one long one out, or I can keep a couple of smaller ones coming out. Right, I'll get the next bits organised and I'll be back again. Right, so we'll just give that a quick mask, basically to cover enough. Everything's covered in fire blankets and stuff anyway, so we're not going to get anything anyway. We're just doing like a little local primer area. When we get everything moved round, we'll have it in the booth and get the engine bay done properly, or painting properly, should I say. So what we're doing now is, if you can see that, can you see? Just got the infrared on it. I don't know if you can see through this camera or not. Yeah, there we go. So we've just got some Maper epoxy. There's quite a bit of bare metal. Now the Maper 4+1 will go directly, we'll get there in the end with this camera. There we go. It will go directly to metal, but I always like to put a bit of epoxy on first, just on the bigger, because there's quite a bit on this corner. I'd rather it be coated, then we're not having any issues down the road. Obviously I've got the heater on because I want some panel temperature in there. I don't want any moisture stuck on the panel after we've just cleaned it all. Also, while the lamp's on, you can warm up your can. Do not leave it on there, obviously it'll blow up, but we can warm the can up. Just spin that back around. Can you see where I am? Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm just hovering underneath the... And then when we're done that, we're just going to put a bit on the bare metal. That's all we need. Which is better. It's nicer to put a coating on. Like I said, we don't really need to with the 4+1, but it's... I just think it's better if we do it. Right, and then that's about it. So what we'll do, assuming you can still see me or not, this thing's terrible. We'll let that dry. I'm going to go mix some primer now. We only need a little bit. Just basically going to do that corner. That's us about done. While that's lamping, I will show you what we're doing. For those of you that haven't seen the previous videos. So we use everything's meeper. Excuse the compressor there. Right, tidy that up. So basically we have black, grey and white. So you would try and, because we're using painting the car white again, I'd use a white primer. It's less for me to cover. By the time we get 2 or 3 coats of paint underneath there, it'll look nice. We have already got the paint here actually. So for full paints, we would order in a quantity that we need. We're using a different type of paint with this one anyway, because the customer wants that one. So for smaller stuff, we would mix off the scheme. So basically you get like a recipe if you like. So if I needed 200ml of reflex silver, just for arguments, I'd type that in, put the code in, tell it I need 200ml, and then it'll give me a recipe, and then each one of these will correspond in that recipe, and then we just measure it on the scales there, which are super sensitive, and that's basically how paint's mixed. Right, so I'll just twist this off. So I'm lucky because I've got, I asked my paint supplier for a few of these paddles, and basically they have like a big mixing thing underneath them all, which allows me to mix it a lot nicer than having to put a stick in there and mix it all up like we used to. So that's a bit nicer. So as we're using primer, we'll just grab one of these, grab a cup even, get a spit to turn. Right, now, just so, again, just for the people that don't know, I can use this wet on wet. You can mix it various different ways. We've got calculator here that kind of makes sense. So if I want, so ready for use, high build, I want 100ml, I need 102 grams, 16.6 grams of hardener, 12.2 grams of thinner, give me a total of 131.4. so that basically because the primer's heavier, has a thicker viscosity, That's a posh word, isn't it? It weighs more than the thinners or the hardener might do. But generally, once you've been using it for a while, you can eyeball it, especially on like little spot things like that. If I was doing a side of a van, I'd probably be more inclined to measure it, because I'd be using it wet on wet, if you like, to seal everything in. So it's nicer if it's measured. Always check your technical data sheets anyway. Just because I eyeball it, it doesn't mean you should have to, or should do. Right, we'll mix that and we'll get back to you. I'm waffling. Right, you can see now, hopefully, it's gone all matte. So we know that's dry. I'm just going to move the lamp out of the way. I'm going to get a little coat on there just for now. Just so you've got an idea of what we're doing. He says he's put his mask somewhere. There we go. Right, get rid of that. Put the heat lamp back on it. I need to do something with this bloody tripod thing, it's well annoying. Take it off, use it on my hand. Yes, that's basically it. You can see now I'm going to put 3 layers on that, make sure we've got plenty on. That'll all get sanded. We're Saturday today, so that'll get sanded Monday. We'll get it moved round. Like I said, we're only painting these edges just enough from what we can see, because we're not supposed to be stripping anything else out of it. So I'm going to try and cable tie as much as I can out of the way, wedge some paper in. I don't like using static sheeting on engine bays. Before some people might mention that, because it's just too light. As soon as you touch that or go near it with a gun, it's flicking everywhere and it'd just be a nightmare. So that's why we try and wedge paper in as much as possible. Sometimes, because you haven't stripped the engine bay completely, you may get a little bit of overspray here and there, but it's very easily cleaned off later on, or the following day, because everything's fresh. Just wipe it straight off. Although we do our best not for that to happen. What's going on with this as well? So yeah, so I'll get that done without boring you too much. So Skyline shouldn't be that much longer now before we're painting it. We've had a big issue with that front bumper being a pain in the behind. You'd have seen on the last video we had to weld some bits into the wings. I think I've recorded at least one of them. So they're alright now. They've been epoxied, so they're all coated inside and out. Where we've done the repairs, I mean. I can show you them anyway. Just put the light on. So for those of you that are wondering why I've just mentioned the primers and this one's grey, it's because I knew it was coming off and I had a lot more grey than I did white. So like I said, that's getting baked twice, or has been baked twice, to allow it to pop, and we can fill everything in, and then it'll get white primer over the top. So on the wings we had a dent up here which we've just tapped out from behind. You can see in there we just put some, just brushed some epoxy on there, nothing exciting. Down there as well, that's where we've welded. You just see it in there. Not a lot of people do that. It's something I like to do, especially if the wings are off. So we've cleaned both sides of the metal and then we epoxy. So rather than having a bare wing, which is what it was, the worst area that may trap dirt is now all coated. So and also when we paint, we'll flick a bit of paint around the inner arches and everything anyway, just basically to give it some more protection. And then everything's cavity wax when it leaves here anyway, for full paints like that, on a car of that age anyway. Not on modern stuff, but on that sort of thing, we factor that in. So you can't have a body shop without a dryer on your airline, but hearing it all day is very annoying. I really must pipe it outside, especially when you're trying to talk or waffle as much as I do. So yeah, if you like the video, like, share and subscribe and all that wonderful stuff. If there's anything else you want to see, just let me know. If there's anything else we've missed in this process that you'd want to see or know how we've done, just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video though. It helps with channel growth apparently, and all that other stuff that people say. Right, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.